So what is this? How do we know Maya? Is that you cannot know Maya. One way is says anirvachaniya, but yet you experience Maya. Huh? So this is a famous question that Narada put to Lord Krishna, or Vasudeva, Narayana. So just a short diversion. Narayana, which is the Lord of the universe, Paramatma, the Saguna Brahma. He and Narada, Narada is the Indian mythological story. He's a famous rishi. And yet, he's very common in all the mythical tales. He and Narayana are walking together. And walking means they're somewhere in the skies or some subtle plane they're walking. And so Narada tells Krishna or Narayana, tell me what is Maya. Everybody says there is Maya. I don't see Maya. Where is it? What is it? What is its attribute? How do I know Maya? So Narayana, of course, doesn't want to explain in the normal way, right? Because it's like language and all have limitations. This, we say anirvachaniya, meaning it is inexplicable. Maya is inexplicable. You cannot explain through language. You cannot, just like how deep sleep. Can you? If I got two answers. Somebody said you cannot experience deep sleep. Somebody said deep sleep. But see, when we say deep sleep, meaning there is some idea we are in deep, we go to deep sleep. But yet, if you were to experience, how does it look like? How does it feel like? We cannot experience that. We cannot explain that. So the essence of Maya is like that. This is where then Narayana tells him, you go to that lake, you go to that well, and get me a glass of water. They have come down to earth. You get me a glass of water. So Narada goes there to get a glass of water. And what happens as he goes to get that water, he doesn't have a thing. He sees a beautiful girl. She's pulling that water from the well. He sees that girl and suddenly he feels he's actually a celibate brahmachari. But he gets very attracted to her. And then what happens? He follows her. And she goes, she tells her, I want to marry you. And she tells, I have to marry you only with the consent of my parents. And the parents, he goes, asks for her hand. And their parents says, you can only marry her if you are willing to stay here and reside and serve, do all the things that we need to be done. He agrees, he marries, and then he starts working in the fields, he does everything in the village, and that he also becomes he has children and all that. And one day, after many years, there is a big flood. And what happens, the whole village is getting wiped out. Slowly, all his cattle, his fields, everything gets wiped out. And then his wife also gets, wife and father-in-law, everybody drown in that. And he's struggling and taking the children across. And his dearest child, his youngest child, he's carrying on his shoulders and crossing across. And he stumbles and the youngest child also falls. And that water takes that child. And then he calls out, what injustice are you doing to me? I've never harmed anybody. This is, he accuses Narayana. He says, your karmic law is not working well because I have never harmed anybody. How can such bad karma happen to me? And somewhere in the distance he hears Lord Narayana says, where is my water, Narada? You went to get my water. Where is my water? Meaning this whole sense of time that Narada experienced in that thing was in a flash of second there. Flash of few seconds. Nothing had ever happened from that consciousness of Narayana. Nothing had happened. But from that consciousness of Narada, all this has happened. That he found this most pretty girl, he got married, he had children, and his children, now everybody died. All this happened because of Maya. So, but yet at the same time, can we say it is unreal? From that experience of Narada, it is not unreal. But from the real experience, awakened state of Narayana, It is a Maya. It is that just that thing is happening. So similarly, this avyakta is that everything is unmanifest, but it starts manifesting and it gives this whole presentation, pictures. Okay, so this point we have to understand. Then what is that we don't have to look for Maya. So this is the point. That point of looking for intellect is okay. Like when we say, I want to know my intellect, because that intellect is that seer of that mind also. The mind is a seer of that objects. Through my mind, I'm aware. So in meditation, we are drawing our attention back and coming to that mind and intellect. But at the same stage, we try to next, what we do, we have to go to avyakta, we have to go to Maya. That Maya is not existent. At that point, we cannot experience that, but yet that consciousness pervades everything. The only experience we really have, this is the claim of all the Upanishad texts. What the Upanishads are telling us is this: the only thing that you really experience is consciousness. Everything else that you experience is like a seeming experience. There is no real reality to that. But yet it is experienced from that sense of our identification. When we are identified with the mind, intellect, we experience this as a world. So where your identification is, that will determine what your reality is. If your identification is only at the level of body, then you are experiencing only this world. If your identification is at the level of mind, then you experience these thoughts, feelings, everything. So that is the process of going to subtlest, but yet inherent in all this is that consciousness, which is the only thing we are always truly experiencing.